Hi, my name is Linda. And first of all, I loved the quote that you said, how can I love you better? And I think one of the biggest challenges that I've heard, not necessarily throughout here, but at times in the past, where programs go in and try to say, this is what you need, or even providers go in and say to parents, this is how you're going to be a better parent. And we kind of heard that a few times. And so I think I just applaud you for that approach. So I guess one of my questions is, and I'm particularly interested in the grandmothers who are fostering these children. Has anyone asked the grandmothers, how can I love you better? And if so, have there been any volunteers who have supported the grandmothers in any way? And I'm a grandmother, so I love grandmothers.
I can answer that for you.
And if there isn't, that might be something at some point I would like to do in some way, just to be a support to grandmothers, although they may just support each other in some way. But I love to love the caregiver, because I think our caregivers throughout the world are just sometimes forgotten, and they need hugs too. So parents and other caregivers.
I want to tell a story about Paula and my mom. So a friend of mine that used to teach leadership, she considers her the grandmother's expert. She's a photographer and a writer and has gone all over the world taking pictures of grandmothers. And so just by chance, she was up in Traverse City, Michigan, because she's one of my mom's best friends. And we're at Cherry Republic in Glen Arbor. And Jackson's and his family are with us. And I finally put together that, and Paula had highlighted Jackson's grandmother project. And I got to just listen to two grandmothers grill Jackson, and which is what tends to happen. Grandmothers tend to be very good at being assertive. But what was interesting is they said, yeah, thank you for dumping these children on us, but we have no way of sustaining ourselves. And that was, so whether it was them telling or active listening or him soliciting, doesn't matter to me. But what he did is he said, well, how do we get them to have some economic resources in a non-enabling way? And so one way they do that is he had the grandmothers, because they need to stay home, they could do piecework, they could make jewelry, they could do different crafts, and then also the other thing that I saw that sort of happened organically is getting those grandmothers together to sort of support each other too. Because nothing, as we all know, as I know as a parent, it's so easy to connect when we go into, my wife and I have lived in 8 houses in 9 years. One easiest way to connect to the local community is just to have kids in school. You can connect like that. And so the best way for grandmothers to connect is through their children. And so you have that sort of natural happening. But yes, that's something I know that's always on his mind and heart. But did I flog that to death, or did I get it right?
Oh, you did an amazing job. What I would just say quickly, the love of grandmothers. Now I'm tempted to say, actually we haven't had that kind of volunteer, so you can come. But I'm a transparent guy. We have had volunteers doing that. But remember I told you we have 7,000 grandmothers. And that is just a fraction. We turn them away, those who want to join. Many are turned away because we don't have resources and even meeting places to meet all their needs. But I will tell you quickly, when I was 9 years old, I fell from a tree, 200 feet from a tree, and injured my leg. The thing got in my leg from one side and came on the other side. And there is no hospital, there is no care in this village. I was taken to a clinic and spent there 6 months. Every single night, my grandmother was 80 years of age, walked every night and came and sat next to my bed in the hospital and read me a chapter in the book of Psalms every night for 6 months. Now, in a place where you don't have electricity, some of those nights are dark. Others, the moon is out. Others are rainy. Others are dry. No matter what night it was, she came. When I left the hospital, I'm cutting the story short, I found out that my grandmother did not know how to read. My grandpa would read for her all day long, and she would come and recite the whole scripture so her grandchild can live. We were 26 grandchildren, but every night for 6 months I took the time. She saved my life because I knew I was dying. Everybody in the village knew I was dying. The only person who knew I was not dying was my grandma. And her dream came true. So you can see the love of grandmothers. Come and give them love. They want to learn from you. They wonder how American grandmothers live. You wonder how a grandmother lives with 14 children in a 14 by 12 home. Those questions will be answered when you arrive. Debbie will take you through the interview. You come, you have the most fun you've ever had in your life.